Thanks, Simon. Yeah, not drones. However, Simon, if you go to forestns.ca, there's actually a webinar series there, or anybody else. There's another one coming up in March, or May. So go ahead and check that out. Okay, so thanks everyone. Yeah, we're like between you and a very beautiful day, so we'll try to get through this as quickly as we can. I'm Kari Easthouse, many of you know me. Jesse Moura is a good friend and colleague. I'm going to just give some context, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jesse, and he's going to actually show you some demo and some cool stuff, so we won't be talking at you the entire time. If you haven't heard of Loupra, that's not surprising at all. We just dreamt it up about a year and a half ago. So Loupra is a new forest technology company. It's myself and Jesse and Sean McGrath and Matthew LeBlanc from New Brunswick. I guess like a origin story, I guess, if you will. So we're all forestry with a tech leaning. We've all worked in various areas of the industry and probably felt frustration over seemingly solvable problems that seemingly take forever to solve. So what we thought we'd try is actually kind of applying a tech startup type of approach to solving some of these problems. So that was about a year and a half ago we got started on that. I think you'll see there's been quite a bit of progress in that time. I know I've been coming to these almost as long as Simon and Peter. And typically what happens is you'll come 1 year, you might talk about a concept, and 2 years later how it's going, and 4 years later how it went. But we've covered quite a bit of ground here already, as I think you'll see. So, but the proof will be in the pudding down the road. So, sorry, I'm with tech and I can't work PowerPoint. Okay, so there's sort of three classes of problems that Loupra is looking at and working on that we're trying to apply a sort of a technology-based solution to at least attempting to solve. One is, I mean, this comes up every year, and as woodlot owners, you're very familiar with the idea here in Nova Scotia and the Maritimes, really. The large majority of the forest landscape is fragmented, is made up of tens of thousands of individual woodlot owners, which has an advantage. It adds a lot of resiliency and diversity to the forest landscape. But from an economic point of view, it's a disadvantage, right? If you're Alpac working in Alberta, you're dealing with 6 million hectares and one landowner. Here in Nova Scotia, 2 million hectares and 30,000 landowners. So obviously, from an administrative point of view, that's a big burden that needs to be overcome. Talking to every one of those 30,000 landowners obviously is not realistic. So we need to find better ways of engaging and communicating and working together with those landowners in a way that we can kind of move the industry forward. So that's one of the areas. Sorry. The other one, all of us at Loupra, I guess, have a strong belief that there's some really good climate stories and things that we can do from a climate positive point of view in our forests. However, recognizing those and measuring those and valuing those is obviously very, very difficult, right? Especially when you then combine that with thousands of woodlot owners or different things. So that's clearly, I think, an area where technology can play a role, and one of the things that we're actually looking at is there. Thank you, Jesse. The other one, and this is a personal beef of my own, so forestry, like I've been at this for 30 years, and like the forest industry was one of the first ones to adopt technology, like as far as GIS goes back in the 90s. Forest industry was a leader in that. And then around 2005, it seems like we decided, hey, that's enough, we'll wait here. And everybody else went ahead, and we didn't. So there's all kinds of research and really great tools that are out there, but they're all disconnected. So if you're not a researcher or at a university or in a large company, they're really hard to access. You might use them once a year. It's not worth the effort of trying to figure out how to use it and bring it in and so on. So building a way that brings those together into one sort of digital infrastructure is one of the other places where we think that we can actually add value. So what Loupra is picture it as a platform or building the infrastructure that various aspects of the forest industry can use. So if you think of it, we're building a road that we want other people to connect on, to go from one place to another or put businesses on, that type of thing. So it's a digital infrastructure with a whole bunch of different components. Some of those components are ones that we want to build, other ones are ones that we want other people to build and be involved in. So two of them, Jesse's going to show you here shortly. One of them is one that you're not going to see today. Here's Forest Ledger. If you were here last year, you may remember Sean and I were talking about biomass measurement and reporting and valuation, verifying. That's kind of what that led from, right? So the concept there is how do we ensure that what we're reporting on in the forest is trackable, verifiable, and potentially able to add value. Forest fusion, this is getting into the weeds a bit, but that's sort of around the concept of we've got all this data, how do we apply technologies or AI to improve the data that comes out? So there's lots of opportunities like harvester head data, satellite imagery, data that's out there but is not integrated. So bringing those into one system in order to add value to the data that's going out. Then what we will see here momentarily, so Forest Extend is kind of the visible, exciting part of this. So as you'll see, it's an application for woodlot owners. I want to be clear, it's not meant to replace boots on the ground, but what it is meant to do is help engage 30,000 landowners at a time in a way that's scalable. And also, when it does come to boots on the ground, making sure that the right boots are going to the right woodlot. So if you're a woodlot owner, you'll be able to go on, get information about your woodlot, but then more easily access services groups like you and Pete were talking about, which is the fractional forester piece. So as a forest consultant or as somebody working in the forest industry, you can think of it as like Uber for woodlots. You go on, if you're a woodlot owner, you can post, hey, I've got this work to do. And if I'm a forest professional, I can go on and get access to work that needs to be done. That's sort of the general concept. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Maybe I'll add a little bit more. Manage expectations. So what you're about to see is based in New Brunswick. This is New Brunswick data. We're currently developing a pilot project implementing this in New Brunswick. So this is New Brunswick data, New Brunswick context. Some of the features that you would see may not be possible here in Nova Scotia just because of the differences in forest inventory, that type of thing. Our hope is to deploy it here in Nova Scotia, but we need to figure out what the right path towards doing that is here. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be questions. I'm going to leave it there, and Jesse's going to take it.
Okay, let me adjust this a little bit. Sorry, there you go. So before I go and do the demo with you guys, I wanted to picture something in your head. This is the art of the possible. So what you're going to see here today, a couple of the features are just ideas that we had that we think it's good, but the idea of doing some pilot projects that we're going to work on is to understand, does the feature is really needed or not? So again, it's the art of the possible. If you see here, it doesn't mean it's going to be there. It might be there, but again, it's just, we're going to do some pilots to understand, is that really something that a woodlot owner needs? So don't look at me, look at the video. We're going to have a quick video going around. It goes fast, but the idea, you will get the idea through the video, okay? So what you can see here is Loupra Extend demonstration. So a woodlot owner can go and look for the woodlot by the address or PID. If they have more than one PID or more than one address, they can add to a portfolio, and then they get some insights and information about their woodlot. So inventory, area, volume, and then you can learn more about your woodlot from your phone, and this is all public data. Again, for this case, is for New Brunswick. We might be able to have some free extension connections. It always depends on partnership with the government, so it depends on that, but we're still going to connect you with foresters at some point. But the most important part here is this. So we have plan projections for 10, 20, 50 years. Those are only informational. Again, like you can't take that and take it to the bank. It's just for you to have an idea of how much it's worth. But the most important part is the strategic priority over there, that you set your objectives for your woodlot. So you tell us what you want to do for your woodlot. And then once you do that, we have some projections, because we look at, okay, if they want to do harvesting, we're going to calculate that. If you want to do carbon, we're going to calculate that as well. And then getting that information about what you want to do with your woodlot, then we can connect you to the right people. So if you want to do a carbon project and you put their carbon as a priority for you, then we're going to connect you with the groups that work with carbon projects, so that we're connecting you to the right people. So it saves your time and also saves their time. Again, the idea is not to remove anyone from the equation, it's actually to have more connections, and we're taking the burden off you for looking to the right people, and also from those people, because like the professional, usually they have hard time because they're going to connect with someone that doesn't want to do that type of project. So you can select what type of information you're sending. So you can send the full inventory, or partial, like for only the merchantable areas, or only the basic information that would be just a PID and your name. We also have this 3D view, that this is more for people that don't know, like let's say someone just inherited a woodlot, they've never been there, they don't know what a thinning is, or a clear cut is, or even what a planting looks like. So this is more like a gamified view of a stand in your woodlot, that you can play around with it, you can grow your trees, you can do thinnings, you can do clear cuts. Again, more informational just for people that don't have an idea of what a woodlot or a stand is. And last but not least, we have this Woodlot Assistant. So for instance, the pilot, we're not going to have this, because we really want to be careful with AI consultant. So the idea of this AI is to help you understand more of what you have in your woodlot. It's not to tell you what to do, it's more to educational tool. So like, what do I have in my woodlot? Can you give me videos about what is a thinning? So what is a stand if you don't know what a stand is? So it's more educational than anything else. So for the pilot, we're not going to release this, just because we really want to make sure that it only replies related to those like educational information. So what it can help you too is, like, if you're not confident to go and talk to a forester, you can like, okay, based on my objectives, what should I talk with the forester about? So it can also like help you break that barrier if you're worried about talking to a forester. We also have the phone view, so it's available on the phone. So you were seeing in a desktop, but we know that most of all of us usually nowadays we have a phone, so it's easier to access on your phone, and it's also translated to French, so if you're a French speaker, you can go from English to French if you need it. So once you're connected and extend, so you create an account, you connected, you select your objectives, so now comes to the fractional forester part, which is connecting you to a forester. So I'm going to change here. So this is a professional login name, so this is myself, I logged in, and I just got William there, that was the client that we just saw playing around with his property, and I got the message he wrote and the inventory. So we're going to see the same property right now. And in here, I can see the woodlot owner objectives, but I cannot change it. So that is for the woodlot owner to change. So if they want to change, they will go there and change. But for me, I can only see it. I can create plans. I can, if I have a plan in Excel, and I can just import from an Excel into this tool. And one thing that we're trying to build is an algorithm that understands the plan that the professional created and see how that plan is aligned with your objectives. So that when they submit the plan for you to approve, you can see, okay, like this is aligned with my objectives or not, so that you can ask for revisions if needed. So this is what's happening right now. They're going to submit the plan. We can also ingest data, so if there's cruise data, drone imagery, harvest head data, they can put that data in here, so that it's going to improve the information for the woodlot owner and it's easier to access. And one thing too is, like, because the plan is there, and if something happened, it's easier because now the plan becomes a live management plan, and if something happened, it's easier to update than just a paper plan. There's also the conversation that went by really quick, so you can like have conversations with your with the forester inside that tool. So once again, we did the Woodlot owner connected, sent the connected to a forester. The forester did the plan. The third thing is still inside fractional forester, but we separated the video just because of the amount of information. But that would be the contractor. So the contractor is also like taken into account here. So the contractor would have the similar login and in the same web page. But the difference now is that the contractor is able to see the job market. So the forester or even the woodlot owner could create some posts. So I'm looking for a cruise, I'm looking for a clear cut, I'm looking for a thinning. So they can post that in this marketplace, and then the contractors would see that and then talk to you and send you a quote, and you can work that from there. For the contractor, we also have this cost calculator that helps them to get a better quote. And with time, if they're using that cost calculator for a long time, we can even help them to predict, like, and let's say, okay, you did a quote last year and you lost some money, so adjust here, adjust there, so that it's fair for both sides. Yeah, so it's just creating the calculation and submitting a quote. One other thing that we have here is what we call the lead discovery. So the lead discovery that we created in here was mostly initially for fundings. So let's say there is a silviculture funding, and we know that usually when the funds comes, it's not available for everybody. And for instance, in New Brunswick, usually it's first come, first served. But the idea for this lead discovery is that we make the most out of that money that came from our taxes. So the idea is that we identify the stands that has a higher priority, and then the funding can go to those, because then if it's a PCT and this stand, if I don't do it now, next year I can't do it. So then we're putting the money in the places that will make more sense, and then so forth. So it helps us to, again, make the most out of that money. So I think that's it for the demonstrations. Again, this is the art of the possible. There's a lot that could come here that is not here. There's a lot from here that might not be here from a while, because again, the pilots are going to tell us, is this really necessary? Does it really help the woodlot owners? Does it really help the forest professional? So that's it for the demo. Kari still have a little bit more.
Yeah, just bring the next screen up. So you can read the screen if you want, but just, I guess, in general, a couple things to reiterate. So this is not about replacing boots on the ground, obviously. That is always needed. But what we hope to do is make sure, as I said, that those boots go to the right place. So if you're an environmental NGO, there's woodlot owners showing up at your office or asking you, that have already have an understanding of what's on their woodlot and what their objectives are and where the right places to go are. If you're, if you're Pete and you're looking to do woodlot management plans and help people with FSC, there's already been some vetting, so you're not spending, I think somebody was talking about the administrative time associated with that, meeting landowners, all of those types of things. That still needs to happen, but maybe you do it with 2 woodlot owners instead of 5 in order to get to the final result that you need. That part's important. To me, also, I think what's really important is the concept of having that market available of potential work. So if I'm a forestry consultant or I'm a technician fresh out of school and I want to make a life here in Nova Scotia, suddenly there's an option, because I can see here's 50 woodlot owners that want work done and help with their woodlots, that in the past, how would you even know that or access that, right? That's sort of the concept. Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's all. All that I wanted to say is, if you want to give some feedback about what you saw, it's really important for us. As I mentioned, we're going to do some pilots to test, but we have this QR code, and if you go there, you can give feedback about what you saw. If you think it's a good thing, but you can also write a feedback. And also, if you wanted to share your email, so that once it gets to Nova Scotia, you get a notification to say, hey, we're going to do a pilot in Nova Scotia, and we have your contact, so we can contact you to tell you that it's available for you to try. So if you wanted to do that, you can go in the QR code and put that information, but I would say that's it.
Yeah.